She's so fine. Hell of her blows my mind. Hell of her lights my day.
So what does that justice look like?
This just gonna look like they're gonna get what they deserve to get to them. You just don't take a life. They brutally beat her. She didn't agree to fight whatsoever. She did not agree. That's not her. You know, she did not agree to fight. You know, she was going over there, enjoy somebody's birthday, one of the she graduated with. That's what she thought she was going to do, and then enjoy it, take photos, you know, put them on her phone, and come back and enjoy it, and, you know, talk about it to her other friends, you know.
What's good, guys? Today is Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. This video is going to be regarding the Shanquella Robinson case, and specifically, I wanted to talk about something that not a lot of people have spoke about, or that I'm aware, anyways. I know a lot of people have made comparisons or made mention of the Kenneka Jenkins case when speaking about the Shanquella Robinson case, but I wanted to address this part of that. Shanquella Robinson now has a headstone. She has a final resting place with a stone as a marker. That much has been accomplished. And another thing, and the main thing I want to speak about, is that while we do see the family quite a bit, speaking with their legal representatives, Ben Crump and Sue Ann Robinson, we rarely get to see Shanquella Robinson's father, Bernard Robinson. And, you know, I don't know the story between Miss Sallamondra and Mr. Bernard. That's not my business. That's not any of our business. But what is relevant is that regardless of the relationship that Miss Sallamondra and Mr. Bernard have, they shared a daughter. And now that daughter is gone. And so, just like what Miss Sallamondra and Ben Crump and Sue Ann Robinson are speaking about is important, so is what Mr. Bernard Robinson is saying. And so he spoke recently at the final resting place of Shanquella Robinson. And so I wanted to show a couple of clips of that, just because we don't get to see him at these meetings where Ben Crump and Sue Ann Robinson are in attendance. And I'm not sure if it's because he specifically didn't hire them. I don't know what the story is there, nor do I care. That is their business, like I said. But I am going to continue to bring what he says to my channel as well, because he is equally as important as Miss Sallamondra Robinson is in regards to this case. So let's cut to a few of the things that he said.
It's just sort of a little emotion standing here talking about this. It's on back order. But a marker came, so I brought you all out here today to let y'all know that, you know, her mark is down now, you know. I can come, me and my mother, my family, I can come up here and talk to her. I know where she at. Because at first, I didn't know where, I didn't even know she was over there. I talked to her that Wednesday before she transitioned over. I get a phone call from my mother saying that she transitioned over in Mexico. Then I get a phone call. The only thing I know, she talked to Cleo Cook, supposed to be her best friend, 2 times on the phone. And I ain't know nothing about that. You know, I just felt as a father that the way I love her, the way I raised her, that I should have had an opportunity to give her that father advice or my opinion about going over there, in which I didn't. And I know for a fact, from the bottom of my heart, we all might not even be standing out here if I had that opportunity. to speak to her, even though she's 25 years old. She grown, but still at the same time, I'm her protector until she get a husband. When she get a husband, then he become her protector. But as this father standing right here, I feel like I should have been her protector, and I was denied that.
What would you have said?
I would have asked her who she going with. How well do you know these folks? Then I would have came back and said, well, who their parents are. Well, before you go, let me meet these parents. Let me meet these folks. You know, I always been like that ever since she started beginning having a lot of friends. You know, as a father, you know, not trying to be in her business. It's just the point of making sure she okay and the folks that are around her, who she keeping company with. Because everybody can say you your friend, but they're really not. It all depends on what you got and how you carry yourself. And she carried herself very well, because that's how I taught her, you know. The respect, morals.
Have you met these friends?
No, I never met her. Didn't know nothing about her. You know, only thing I know, her mother said they went to school with her, and she's gonna tell me, you know, told me, well, you don't know them. So I said, do you know them? She said, I know of them, but I'm seeing in the interview, you know, you told your lawyer, Sue Robinson, that you just know one of them. That was Khalil Cook. So that tells me right there, we both was in the blind, as a mother and a father. We both in the blind. We both didn't even know these folks, you know, so.
And you can hear the emotion in Bernard Robinson's voice as he's speaking. Basically, to the point to that was to say that he spoke to Shanquella the Wednesday before she left to go to Cabo San Lucas. And in hindsight, he wishes things could have been different. He didn't know these people that she was going with. And he had asked Miss Sallamondra, did she know them? And she said she knew of them. And so he's going back to the interviews and saying, well, no, you didn't. You had spoke to Khalil. You knew Khalil. So you just knew one of them. So he's saying basically, as parents, we failed because we didn't know who these people were. He's putting an awful lot on himself in that comment. But let's carry on.
This is still open, though. So God is still moving. My faith is so strong in the mustard seed that he will prevail, you know.
And what does that look like to you?
Patient, like I always been. Just like y'all standing out here, I was patient while y'all set up and everything. I always been patient.
But I mean, what does that look like as far as, you said you're still hopeful for what?
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. It's going to be served. It's going to be served.
And so what does that justice look like?
This just going to look like they're going to get what they deserve to get to them. You just don't take a life. They brutally beat her. She didn't agree to fight.
Mr. Bernard also spoke in regards to his message to these travel mates of Shanquella Robinson, and also about the discrepancy in the autopsy. And so let's take a listen.
What is your message to them if they are watching?
My message to them, yeah, you know, why can't y'all just go ahead and tell the truth? Why y'all up and left her like that? Because if you would have stayed, this father right here would have made sure y'all got back to the United States whatsoever. Any of her friends that she grew up with, they would tell you that her dad took care of them when they was with Shanquella just like they was mine from day one. And I'm still the same father that she was, that I raised her, that I am is today, and she gone, you know.
Mr. Robinson has and will continue to be one of the most optimistic people in regards to this case. And I believe that that comes from his faith. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I just wanted to make mention of that because he has never wavered on what he thought was going to happen in this case, even when the FBI decided not to charge anyone in the United States for this crime. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Then the main thing, she got the little kids, the little girls and boys that she plait hair, braid their hair. Now they wonder where Shanquella is. Because Shanquella didn't got adapted to her customers, her clients, the mothers, the fathers, how well she doing their daughters and sons braiding their hair, and they proud of Shanquella doing their hair, and how they, she got them looking, stealing something in them that they can become this, they can become that. One of the little girls might want to follow her footsteps. But right now, that crush from them 6.
And it is really sad when you sit there and think about it, that Shanquella Robinson was a children's hairdresser, hair braider. And so these kids have gotten used to Shanquella, and she has gotten used to them. And for those of you that don't know how it is to do children's hair, it's not the easiest job in the world. A lot of kids are tender-headed, etc. And then the parents trust you with their kids' heads. Like, it's a big deal, to be quite honest. And so now these kids don't have Shanquella. And they're really the silent victims in this, because now she's gone. And these children, some of them weren't even ready to learn about death. And now they've had to get used to another hairdresser or what have you. And it's sad. It's sad when it comes to the kids. And that is what Shanquella Robinson did that job for, is for the kids.
And the parents, the mother and the father, those parents, or those 6 individuals, don't have no decency to call up, interview one of you all on the news and say, Mr. Robinson, or the Robinson family, we sorry about the loss of your daughter. Whatsoever. Their life is still moving around, walking around here like they enjoy life. But this father right here struggling each and every day. I cry. Every day. It's a struggle for me. Struggle.
Have you had any contact with those 6 or their families at all since?
No, not whatsoever.
Have you attempted to, or wanted to reach out, wanted to know why?
Now, ain't no need of me reaching out. I'll let God do what he got to do.
And Mr. Bernard Robinson has always said that the parents should have reached out to the family of Shanquella Robinson. And we have even pastors as parents of these Cabo 6. And they have still not reached out to this family in any sort of way. And it's shameful. It is. But at this point, what would they say? Like, what would they say to stick their foot in their mouth? I'm not sure.
Mr. Robinson, there is a discrepancy, well, I guess discrepancy is the best word, between Mexican authorities saying, this was what they call femicide, and they have a warrant for one of the people that was on that trip with Shanquella. However, the United States attorney is disputing the autopsy that they did on Shanquella. Does that concern you?
I'm frustrated about it. To the utmost. I'm frustrated. I just can't understand why, the autopsy that I got back saying that her neck and spinal cord was broke, because when I talked to the young lady, Miss Elizabeth, who over there, I asked her before she even sent her body back to me. I asked her, I said, Miss Elizabeth, how my daughter died? She said, Mr. Robinson, your daughter's neck and spinal cord was broke. I said, you kidding? I just started crying.
Because they're saying that the Mecklenburg County medical examiner is saying that they didn't even make visual confirmation of that.
Well, I can't understand that. I don't know who the medical examiner who did her autopsy on her body, but I would like to know how many years experience that he have in doing an autopsy on her body, or, where did he get his degree from? Because
obviously it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. First suspect, because this lady Elizabeth, that's what she do. When people die over in Mexico, she get the body, do the paperwork and everything.
So I just wanted to bring Bernard Robinson's perspective on the case of Shanquella Robinson to the channel, because what he says is also just as important as what Miss Sallamondra Robinson says, as well as the legal representatives. And he has a perspective. I also am not trying to pit them against each other. I don't know the situation. It doesn't matter to me, and it's none of my business. But I do know that Mr. Bernard Robinson does take care of his elderly mother as well. And that may come into play on whether he can travel or not. I'm not really sure. But I also wanted to let you guys know that Shanquella Robinson does have a permanent headstone down at this point, that it was back ordered, but it is down now. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to continue to cover this case. Have a great night.